Philippe, a few days on, how do you look back on Hampden and everything that went into that day?
That my team played really well, that they were strong. Short time after the Tottenham game where they played also really well, that my team made a massive, showed massive physicality also in that way. We hit really high numbers in the two games, so those things are to continue. Of course, the days after, it hurted really a lot for everybody in the club, players, staff, fans, board, everybody involved, because the situation that how everything happened. So you guys had a lot of filling papers with that the last week, and it's now for us important. It's hard because you feel after the game that the rules of the game are not followed, and with there's a lot of times a gray area in decision making. In this time it was totally no clear gray area. That's very clear for everybody after the game. That's been discussed by everybody, and there's nobody in the world who has another view on that. It's been good that there was transparency from Philippe Clement and openness and honesty about what happened, and about his idea also about the situation. What was really clear, he was really clear about that. It doesn't help in the end for the result, because it's a game decisive moment, but we appreciate the honesty for sure. And everybody in the club hopes that that Willie is not alone in his fight to get standards better, but that everybody also at the top of the SFA also have the same ambition to make things better, that these things cannot happen, because it's not only for Rangers or for every team losing a game like that, but it's also for Scottish football really bad advertisement. And all of Europe have been talking about that, about what happened in this final. And that's a pity, because it was two good teams who playing a good game of football with everything that every fan wants into a game, with the quality, with the intensity, with the will, with the relentlessness, with everything inside. And there's been much more talks about the game decisive moment in that way. So that's a pity for Scottish football.
How do you handle this now as the football manager? Because fans can get upset and say that the acknowledgement is not enough, but how do you take it forward from here?
Yeah, that's normal, and it's also really difficult to accept that. But for us, it's now really important to put that embed in our heads, to stop thinking about it, because we have tomorrow a very important game against Dundee, and that's what I spoke with the players also about this week. You cannot keep on thinking about that, what happened. We need to focus now on what we've been doing, and to do that in the game against Dundee and taking the 3 points, and we need to focus on that. We don't have the luxury that other people have to stay in that moment. Fans have. They have this opportunity. They can do that. But I hope also that they see how much this team is working, what they are doing on the pitch, and to support them like they've been doing brilliantly in these last couple of games. And that doesn't change because what happened in the final. So we need to continue in that way.
So you would rather the players forget about it rather than use the feeling of injustice as some sort of motivation?
Yeah, but we don't need motivation out of negativity. Yeah, we want to win games, we want to win trophies. And we were the team who created the most chances in the game, and we were the team who should have had a penalty. That's a lot in a cup final. So normally you win then at the end, most of the times. You never have guarantees in football. That's why everybody loves the game of football also, that there are no certainties about things. But in that way, I cannot ask more of the players. I will ask more the next couple of months, because we need to raise the bar every time, because they're not at their top yet. Cannot be with the new squad. But we need to now focus on Dundee and not looking back anymore. So I told them on Wednesday they need to put a point behind that game and to look forward. And we trained also in that way to prepare the game of Dundee really well. So that's what they've been doing. Of course, this moment will stay for the rest of our lives in our head, in the back of our head. What happened? But we need to focus now on what's now.
Gordon mentioned there that for fans, this might not be enough. Willie Collum's acknowledgement that it was the wrong decision, it was unacceptable. Is it enough for you?
What I said, it's my job to get my team ready for tomorrow for the game. So that's my job to do also in the club in that way. My full focus is on that. There are other people with other responsibilities in the club, and they're doing their best also to do the things right for the club. So I'm totally focused on Dundee now. If I'm not doing that, then I do my job not in the correct way.
How important is it that result from the final, for as well as you played, doesn't derail what's been a good month and a half for Rangers form-wise?
No, it's always important. Also, if we would have won the final, it was important to win this next game against Dundee. So there's no difference in that way. That's the beauty of this club. That's why I wanted to be here also. I'm also like that. It's the next game and it's about winning every time. So if you won before or you didn't win before, it's about the next game winning and to be ambitious, to want to win everything.
Philippe, did you speak personally to Willie Collum?
Yes, I spoke personally with him. We had already this season 2 really good meetings with him, with his staff, with a lot of the managers out of the first league. Not all, but a lot of them were there every time. So there were really good discussions in that moment. And he spoke also those moments that we always could call if we had questions. So this was the moment to ask what happened. So he gave me the same explanation that he did afterwards, online, a few days later. He explained me everything, what happened, and that he was not satisfied with that clearly, and that was unacceptable. So he used the same words that he used in his online press conference.
What was your own process, Philippe, this week, just from Sunday night to getting to this point of being able to put it behind you?
You want to know all the process from all week? That's going to be a long press conference. A lot of things happen in your mind about, you had a lot of questions, but like I said, now I want to clear my mind also in that way. If I go back to that process of all week now, it's going to tire me a lot. I want to be fresh for tomorrow, so I want to focus on Dundee now.
On the positive side, do you think the performances against Tottenham and there against Celtic have maybe proved something to some fans that maybe didn't see the direction you were going in?
I think it was before already, and so I don't think it's fair to speak only about Tottenham or the Celtic game. If you had the Kilmarnock game before, and also the Ross County game to win 0-3 there, when you see that a lot of teams are struggling to get points there, or we had before Malmö or Steaua Bucharest, there were other moments also. It's not that we are just playing well for the last 2 games, but you see that the team is growing, and you see it on everything. You see on the physical part, you see a really, really big evolution the last couple of months, but also technically, tactically, also the team gelling together and understanding the movements more. We're getting more players available, what's also a massive thing, with playing every 3 days. So a lot of things are going in the right direction. What helps is that, I've been speaking about potential of players for a while. Not so long, it's not about a year or something, or 6 months. And people need time to adapt to a club, to a new way of playing, to a new way of training, to another level also, because most of them, all of them, didn't play at this level that Rangers is playing. It's a good thing that fans start to see that people that they had doubts about why to buy. I can take the example of Hamza. Why to take a young boy out of Morocco who don't have experience in Europe? Why to take him? That people start to see now why. And they are totally behind that. That I feel everybody I meet in the streets, they say that. And it's not only Hamza, it's several other players also. Jefte is also a really good example in that way for the amount of money that we buy him with less experience, with only 20 years old. So he's taking the right steps, but it's not only the new guys and the young guys. I see the last couple of weeks also Taf performing really well. Maybe the best that I've seen him since the period that we are together. So it's all team making steps, and that's the road we need to continue taking.
How's your squad physically for the game? How's your squad physically?
Quite okay. There's some flu going around the building. I had it also beginning of the week. It's now gone with me, so a few players were like in and out in that way, but I don't expect problems around that for tomorrow. And there are no new injuries after the Celtic game.
How close are you to adding to your squad in January?
Those are discussions made with the board, but there are now other people also in the club who wants to take responsibility in that way to speak about that.
Philippe, how's your first week been with Patrick Stewart and as the new boss?
Yeah, it doesn't feel like the first week because we had some talks before already, but it's good because there's open communication, there's a lot of transparency, we discuss about a lot of things. So, of course, with what happened at Hampden, we had a lot of things to discuss together also. So it feels really good for the moment that that we have the same ideas about a lot of things, aligned about a lot of things, and that there's open communication.
Philippe, how's Oscar Cortez had 45 minutes? The B team was in the squad last week. Is he close to getting minutes for the first team in the next week or so?
He will be in the squad, yeah. And we will see about getting minutes. It depends also of the game, what it needs. He's not starting the game, he's not there yet. So we will see in the next couple of weeks, because it's not preparation now, that you can say, okay, I give now 20 minutes to this one and 30 to that one and 45 to another one, and to come back to their full rhythm, we need to win all the games. So that stays the most important thing.
Do you have to give extra care because he's had these injuries? Is it a slightly slower process than it would be with other players coming back from injury, or is it?
That's really individual for every player, indeed. Yeah, that's the case with every player.